Hello and welcome to our energy forecast for August 2025. Continued big stuff. It's no surprise, I think, that the chaos isn't necessarily slowing down. The first thing that came through, I have wicked chills already. The first thing that came through was total tower moment. When you think about the tower, and I'm referencing, say, the tower card in tarot, it's the breaking down, it's the everything kind of falling apart. The tower, it is this structure, this firm foundational structure, and when that crumbles, when that falls down, it leaves you, who am I? What do I do? Like everything that I thought that I had or knew or my life was or my reality was is crumbling, is falling apart. And we often feel like it's a negative thing because it's not fun. It's not pleasant to go through these experiences, but it allows for something new. When we're so attached, so imagine this tower is your life. When we're so attached to this tower, the way that it looks, the way that it feels, the way that it operates, the foundations that it has cannot change because it already is in existence. It's already built. When we're so attached to that, we lose sight of what could be. We lose, we're not allowing in something better to take place. So when that falls apart, you're in a clean slate. You get to rebuild in whatever way that you want. You get to build, the foundations that you want for your life instead of what's already been there. Because chances are the tower that maybe is your life was built in survival mode, was built in trauma, was built in wounds, was built in subconscious programming running the show. And that doesn't serve you. That is not for your highest good. That serves this chaotic reality that we're living in, this chaotic reality that's built in fear and control and disempowerment. And so it has to fall apart. And so I tend to, when I receive these messages around like a tower moment, I often perceive them as one of two ways. Either internally, an internal tower moment, or an external tower moment. An internal tower moment being more of a very strong ego death, where it's very internally, where around you, other people might think everything's fine in your life, nothing's really changing, but inside you're questioning your reality, you're questioning who you are, you're questioning why you're here, you're questioning your job, you're questioning, you're internally going through it. And then there's the external tower experience where everything in our lives is falling apart. I'm losing my job. I don't have anywhere to live. I'm going through a divorce. Big life things is kind of more the external. And sometimes they manifest in both ways at the same time. However, on average for August, for most people, at least the people who are watching this, because the people who are not watching this probably are also going through the internal tower moment. However, if you're watching this, you've already had that happen. That's probably what this year has been like for you. You've been going through the internal stuff. You've had multiple of these tower moments over the past few years of really discovering who you are and all of that. And so this is manifesting very externally. Meaning, again, job security, business, career paths. Maybe you lose your job. Maybe you're finding it's no longer feeling right. Maybe you're wanting to start over and that's terrifying. Maybe your company got sold. Maybe your business completely collapsed and you have to pivot. It could be manifesting in relationships, right? It could be I'm going through a divorce, or I'm going through some really challenging times with my family members. Your physical health is actually something that is coming up as well, which, as much as it's showing up externally, physical health came through very clearly and very strongly. And in part, I think that's because our physical health, yes, it's a manifestation of what's going on internally, right? It's a manifestation of our subconscious programming and belief systems, our trapped emotions, our energetic blockages, those types of things creates our physical status. However, so does our environment, whether it's a pollution type environment or stress, and that type of stuff. And so you might notice some things coming up with your physical health, and it is a call to really prioritize the physical body and give it what it needs and make better choices, right? If you've been contemplating kind of shifting into maybe a healthier lifestyle, whether that's dietary, physical activity, slowing down, getting more rest, having some sort of yoga or meditative practice, any of these things that are all really beneficial for the physical body, detoxes, right? If you've been contemplating those things, this is your green light, go ahead, you should, yeah, absolutely. And then in a big picture way, again, with this tower experience, the matrix is shifting. So I talk about this all the time. Everyone has different terms for the matrix. My definition is the kind of, if our reality was a computer, the idea that we live in a simulation, right? Which, whether or not you agree with that, whether you believe we're physical beings, we still kind of exist within these structures and rules of our dimensional reality. Our third dimensional reality has rules to it. That makes the difference between all of the dimensions. If they were all the same, there would be no point in having experiences in different ones. And so within our third dimensional reality, we have this matrix system. Imagine it like this computer that is running our entire reality with these different programs plugged into it, right? With different software and hardware and the programs that are running that create the reality. And there's been many different matrix systems over time. There's many different ones that are kind of existing simultaneously. But the primary one that I'm speaking of, think, our patriarchal reality, this, male-dominated reality with the inequality between genders, the suppression of the divine feminine and the divine feminine power, and with that comes, your masculine is what runs our society. It's what's socially accepted in our reality. The hustle, the go, the mind, the analytical, the science-based, the logic, right? The doing, the action-oriented push. That is our reality. That is masculine energy. The feminine that has been suppressed, as much as, yes, it manifests in gender, right? Women, but it's an energy thing more than it is a gender thing, because at the end of the day, I've been a man in other lifetimes and I've been a woman, and men around here, they've also been women. So it's not so much a man versus woman thing. It's more of an energetic suppression, because the divine feminine is the flow. It is the slowdown. It is the being. It is the intuition, right? We're not taught in school to listen to our intuition. We're taught to listen to science, we're taught to listen to data and logic, and to create anything in life means to go after it. Grab the bull by the horns, go create what you want, go do those things. And that's not all bad. It's what we need is this balance, and that is what we're shifting into. But right now we're very imbalanced. It's all very do, go, burn yourself out. Be this masculine energy, and if you do embody more feminine energy, you're considered lazy, or kind of, it has more negative connotations there. And so that matrix system, and that's just one part of it, right? This kind of masculine versus feminine energy imbalance, but also part of this matrix system is the fear-based our reality being geared in fear is intentional. Fear allows us to be controlled. When we are in survival mode, right, we don't have the capacity or privilege to do the self-work, to do the inner work, to improve our physical health, to improve our mental health. That keeps us controllable. It helps the powers that be, that 1%, the pharmaceutical companies, the politicians, the government, all of these different systems that benefit from us being unwell, right? So there's a lot of components to that matrix system. Those are just a few of them, but I think you get what I mean. that is wavering. And simultaneously, this new matrix system is being created that is based in equality and freedom and a collective mindset versus everyone pitted against each other, right? You know, this two-party system where it's like back and forth at each other. Doesn't matter what we think or believe. It's if you're this color or you're this color, like, I don't like you. And it's mind-blowing. It doesn't even make sense. And, you know, most of us that are watching this and are here, we want equality. We care about other people. We have compassion. We have empathy. We know that there's enough resources for everybody. We know that everybody can live a comfortable life and have a, you know, experience reality in a pleasurable way. And everyone can win. We believe that and we know that. And that is what we're shifting into. And that is starting to be built while this one's starting to crumble. But this one, so part of this August forecast is that this old matrix system is starting to crumble. It is starting to have its tower moment. It's like glitching. It's losing its power. It's losing its strength. And that can manifest in a lot of things, you know, again, more big picture things, more of the corruption coming to light, more of that stuff, these systems starting to fall apart. And this is why we have been asked, especially this year, it keeps coming up, to really work on our personal foundations. Because when the collective foundations crumble and that tower comes down, what's left? If you're so ingrained, if your foundations are a part of this kind of matrix system that aligns with those kind of lower frequencies, you know, fear and, you know, disempowerment and inequality, right? You know, and your foundations being built in that isn't your fault necessarily. It's trauma, it's wounds, it's, you know, we built our foundations likely when we were younger or by pressure from other people. And it, you know, if we don't build our own authentic foundations of what really matters to us, when these collective foundations fall and crumble, yours will crumble too. And then you're just going to be in the rubble with everybody else, which is probably what, you know, your other people in your life that maybe are not open to this kind of information are probably going to experience. And so imagine everything around you crumbles, but you've already been building your authentic foundations of what matters to you personally. It doesn't have to match what everyone else, but it's authentic. It's based in a higher vibration. It's based in caring about other people, caring about the earth, all of those types of things. Everything's going to crumble and you're going to be standing there on your foundations like, well, I'm good. And then those are going to be the foundations that other people are going to look to, and they're going to start building those. Anyways, so that is the first component of what kind of came through. The next thing that came through, very verbatim, stirring in the underbelly. And I was like, ooh, what is the underbelly? And this kind of goes with the last thing. It's, you know, the systems and the power programs are, again, starting to dismantle. And as much as there's this external tower moment, more so in our personal lives, but it is starting in kind of the big picture collective reality as well. In the collective reality, it's more happening behind closed doors. It's more happening in these meetings and phone calls and, you know, stuff that we're not privy to quite yet. And so stuff is already happening. We want change. We've been waiting for change. We've been begging for change. We've been meditating, trying to create change collectively, societally. It is happening. We don't necessarily see it big yet, but it is. And so we need to be creating the new. So really firming up your foundations, creating, you know, what we want this new reality to look like. What do we want this kind of piggybacks off of the most recent Mystic message, which is focusing on what we want versus like getting sucked into what we don't want, right? Focus on equality, focus on a collective mindset and food and security for everyone. Focus on empowerment, you know, focus on openness and expansion, right? Because this is being created before the full-blown destruction. And so there's that stirring in the underbelly, and a lot of this external stuff is really just a distraction. And allow that distraction to think that it's working, right? And instead of like being so mad that all this stuff is happening and, things are not going well kind of societally and politically and government and economically and, for the planet, focus on what we're going to birth, right? This underbelly that is clearing out, and then it's like something will rise up and out of it, if that makes sense. So it's behind the scenes work. And so it's really be so aware of what we're focusing on and pouring our energy and attention and focus to. Okay, the last thing, again, this all really goes together. We need to be focusing, or you're going to notice, I guess you should say, triggers and a push to transmute our foundational wounds. I have chills. This is a month big on foundations. Foundations are crumbling. We're building and we're firming up and we're adding to our foundations. However, as we're honing in on our foundations, if we're still vibrating at some lower vibrational things, emotions and energies, because we haven't quite healed them fully. Maybe we healed a lot of it and we've been peeling back that onion for a decade and we're like, when am I going to be done healing this thing? This is the time. This is the final push to heal those foundational wounds. And this is how we create the new. Everything is created from the foundation. We cannot create a new reality if the foundations are not firm. That means our personal foundations, the foundations of a collective reality, what we want for all. And so these foundational wounds are things, big ones are like finances and poverty. This one is big. I don't know anyone who has not been having some sort of like financial crisis or struggling with money. The economy's not great. Cost of living is insane and impossible. We're struggling. And what happens when you find yourself in this poverty place or struggling financially? You find yourself back in survival mode. You don't have the capacity or desire to do the inner work or expand your heart or, care about these positive things, right? The moment we find ourselves back in survival mode, that's what the lower density energies want. That is what the old matrix system wants. And so these things are being triggered, and you can view it two different ways. When things like that get triggered, we can play the victim and say, oh, they're making my life, why is this happening to me? Poor me. Why, woe is me. Or we can say, okay, I obviously have to heal this, right? And I get it. I don't want to do it either. Well, I've been doing this work for so long and it keeps coming up. We're never done healing. We're never done peeling the onion. But this one is coming to a close in a big way for those who have been doing the work. If you haven't done the work at all yet, then it might take you more time because this is not something that you can heal in a month. This is our root chakra stuff. Our foundational wounds are very challenging to heal. So things that like the finances and poverty, because again, that puts you into fear. It puts you into survival. It allows you to be easily, controlled or manipulated. It puts you into maybe a depression or, heavy anxiety or stress. And then we're not sleeping or we're not eating well, we're not taking care of our bodies, then we're not feeling well. And it just becomes this snowball. So we need to really work on these foundational wounds. Safety is another one. And these things, they're often childhood things or ancestral. And they may also go back to other lifetimes as well. But they tend to manifest in childhood, a lot of these root chakra wounds. Safety, and that can be safety physically or safety emotionally. Do you not feel safe in your family, in your household, in your marriage, to express yourself, to have your emotions, to speak up, to question things, to whatever, right? If you don't feel safe to be yourself, or if you're not feeling emotionally supported, right? Those are big wounds we need to really face. And then physical safety, right? Like maybe you lost your house and you're like, where am I going to live? How am I going to put food on the table? Like those actual basic survival, like how do I survive? My physical safety is at risk here. There's deeper stuff. If these things are coming up to you right now, this isn't the first time. It either happened in childhood, it happened in another lifetime, it's part of an ancestral pattern, whether through your mother or your father's lineage or both. And so it's deeper than right now. Fears, those big fears. What are you so afraid of? What are you feeling so fearful of right now? Right? Those things coming up, those are these foundational things that you need to look at. Are you scared of being yourself? Are you scared of speaking your truth? Are you scared of making decisions that someone might judge you? Are you scared of connecting to spirit? Are you scared of stepping out of maybe a structured religion and taking a different spiritual path? What are you fearing? What are you scared of? And then instability. And again, they all mesh together, right? A lot of these root chakras, they're all interwoven. Nothing's really just here and these own separate little things. And they ripple to our other chakras, but they're primarily root chakra things. But the instability, that's those rocky foundations. When our foundations are not quite firm and they're crumbling, right? The things that are still built in the old that are starting to crumble, we're feeling unstable in whatever way, whether again financially, relationship wise, connection, job, career, your place in the world, all of these different things. So whatever's showing up within these foundational kind of themes, it's not going to go away until you transmute it. And we cannot transmute or heal these things through the mind, right? A lot of these things show up as anxiety, as stress, as depression, as far as these kind of feelings and emotions and sensations in the body. And then the thoughts. You're a failure, the thoughts that we tell ourselves. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I can't do this thing. Like, that's too scary. Like, I'm not brave enough, whatever those thoughts are. And then we kind of have this battle with the thoughts and we feel those feelings and we don't know what to do with them. And then the thoughts fuel the feelings and the feelings fuel the thoughts. And it gets stronger and you find yourself falling deeper and deeper into anxiety, depression, stress, apathy, fear, whatever it is. And so what came through as far as this month, again, those of you who have been kind of down this path working on these things, you probably already know the root causes. You probably already know, okay, I have some ancestral patterning here. This thing happened to me in childhood, and I know that that's why I'm having these feelings. And you've done some inner child work already. You've done some ancestral work already, and you're like, why is it coming up again? I can't, You don't have to do it all alone. This is the big... If you could see the goosebumps, you don't have to do it all alone. That is the big message. It's not about unpacking the thoughts. It's not about psychoanalyzing yourself. You've already done that. We're not here to psychoanalyze ourselves in this moment. We're here to open our receiving, to find ourselves in a place of trust and faith, which is terrifying. The fear, that might invoke fear. I said that and I felt fear in my body show up because, like I said, we're so programmed to be a divine masculine, which is not going with the flow. It is not so trusting. It is not faith, right? Trusting and receiving is a very divine feminine space. And so it's very foreign to many of us. And that in and of itself might invoke some fear. And so just be aware that's normal. That is normal. There's nothing wrong with you for finding it difficult to be in that space. But we are being asked to invite in unconditional love. As much as we're here on this dense earth, in this dense reality, in these physical bodies with, low vibrational energies and beings and systems that are kind of trying to keep us lower, there is so much more way up here just waiting for us to ask for their help and assistance. We were never meant to just do it all alone. Most of us incarnated here, in this incarnation, or maybe even your first incarnation and you've just been repeating it. But most of us are here right now to be of service in some way in this big ascension or collective shift, whatever however you view it. You're here to be of assistance. You're here to be of service. You are a cog in the wheel of change. You are playing a role whether you realize it. And a lot of us, it is through healing ourselves, right? The ripple that takes place when we just heal ourselves, we think, oh, I'm just healing myself. Like, that's not enough. You're doing so much more. You are impacting your town, your city, your friends, your family, your lineage, your soul, and the ripple to all these other lifetimes forward and backwards. It is so much bigger. And most of us who came here with, these soul contracts in place that call on, that are in conjunction, they're kind of co-contracts with some other beings. And these beings did not incarnate here. They stayed in some other form, right? Whether they are in the angelic realm, whether they are, incarnated in some other space, whether they're in like a high dimensional Pleiadian reality where they've already gone through this. We have these connections that we chose to have and utilize in this lifetime before we incarnated. We have these soul family members. We have these beings that are like, hey, we were supposed to do this together. Like, I'm supposed to be helping you heal. I'm supposed to be helping you step into service. I'm supposed to be here helping you shift the world. And you're over here thinking you're doing it all alone and you're feeling lonely and feeling sorry for yourself. And I'm over here like, hey, like, let me help you. There are beings begging to let you help them. And they don't override our free will. And so until we invite them in and we give them permission to help us, assist us, guide us, help us heal, help us feel what unconditional love feels like. Because at the end of the day, that is the answer. The answer to this root chakra stuff is inviting in unconditional love. Unconditional love transmutes on such a potent level. It's a feeling most of us have never truly felt before. We maybe think we have. We maybe feel it for our children, but maybe we didn't receive it as children. Most of us didn't, or didn't feel that, even if that was the intention of the parent. It may have felt conditional. Most of us don't truly understand or know what unconditional love feels like in our bodies. And the moment we can feel what that feels like in our bodies, immediately we can feel safe. Immediately we can feel clarity. Immediately we can feel stable. Immediately we understand that there's nothing to fear. And it soothes so many of these root chakra issues. So I invite you to invite unconditional love in. It can come in through your heart. You can invite it into your root chakra. You can invite it into your whole being. There's no wrong way to do this. And call on these beings, these soul family members, these angels, these ascended masters. Some of us have contracts with these ascended masters that are here to help show us unconditional love, right? Jesus, this is his time, right? He's like begging to be of service to us right now because he is such an embodiment of unconditional love. And once we can feel that, it's going to have such an impact, such a shift on the nervous system that is fueling these thoughts, fueling these programs, creating these reactions in the body of anxiety and stress. The mental, emotional, energetic, and physical bodies are so interwoven and so connected. And the moment that influx of unconditional love just kind of takes over, it's that feeling. It's like, oh my gosh, is this what it feels like to not feel stressed out and anxiety? Is this what clarity feels like? Is this what like peace feels like? And it's not a feeling that you're necessarily going to feel all the time, but we need to just keep bringing it in, especially when these triggers are coming up, especially when we're noticing, these root chakra things. And so inviting in this unconditional love, letting that completely transmute what is left of these wounds so that you can then, with more ease, because you're not in resistance subconsciously because of all of the wounds and energies that we're holding, once that's gone, it is easy, it is clear to really firm up the foundations, because that's what we need to do. Is we need to strengthen our root chakra. We have to strengthen our root chakra. We have to strengthen our foundations that are in alignment with our soul purpose, with this new reality that we're collectively trying to manifest. And so whatever is showing up in your life, I can say for myself, this is a spot on message for me and most people that I've spoken to this year as a whole. This is the time. It's not to psychoanalyze yourself, it's not to beat yourself up. It's maybe not to even heal it in the ways that you've done it in the past. Just allow yourself to receive. Just invite in unconditional love. I'm going to put out a whole soul stream that is going to assist you with this, where you can just put in your earbuds or your headphones, give yourself 15 minutes and allow yourself to receive the frequency of unconditional love. It is going to be powerful to step into this and allow that to transmute, remembering that you're not alone. And the more we open up these channels of receiving, the more the divine feminine can come online. All right? Mwah. Best of luck. You fucking got this.